Okay, monkey, it's been done. Been done. We're started. Okay. Hello. Hello, everyone. Welcome to, what is this? What are we doing? Houston, we have a problem. Welcome to Houston, we have a problem. It's Wednesday. Your Houston is here and ripped to shreds. Tried to chop my finger off. Blackberries have just shredded my arms. I mean, oh my gosh, they're so itchy. Got the lawnmower working-ish. The blade won't turn, so we got to get a new belt for that. But the riding lawnmower is riding. The engine's working. Just got to hit the starter with a hammer every once in a while. I got all of Scott's crap moved out of the garage, and it's in a nice stack for him to come and collect when he gets back from California. Otherwise, it's going to Goodwill. If you're watching, Scott, it's going to Goodwill. The garage is getting organized. I got a nice wall of death of all these terrifying acids that if they were to fall off the shelf and burst, would just kill everybody. But that means I can start reducing all sorts of wonderful bits of gold-plated things and computer processors and broken bits of jewelry into gold bars for all of you, so we can make some cool videos on that stuff. Still have ways to go to get the garage useful again, but we are a step closer, and it is wonderful. It's wonderful to be that step closer. Okay, so I've been too hip on the news today because it's been a lot of physical labor this week. A lot of Houston just moving boxes around, hooking up trailers, murdering blackberries. Just a lot of manual labor this week. But it does appear that Congress is really inflexible when it comes to the debt ceiling. And while Biden might be making some concessions, if I were to look at it politically, if you give the concessions and the Republicans raise the debt ceiling, you've probably destroyed entitlement programs and welfare and assistance people need in an economic downturn, perhaps forever, which is not going to be good because we're heading towards an economic downturn no matter what. And if Biden wants to play the politics card, I think he can really easily be like, hey, do you want to cause a global depression because you aren't willing to pay our bills? If that's the case, then by all means, go for it, Kevin McCarthy and the Republicans. Take that sucker in the 2024 presidential election, us being able to say, you are the reason the global economy has failed. Now, the global economy will definitely have a recession, a big one, coming up, but not raising the debt ceiling pushes that sucker over the cliff. It's like someone is in the hospital and they like terminal cancer and they might have 4 to 6 months left, and someone just comes in and sticks a pillow over their face and just ends it now. That's sort of what it seems like the McCarthy and the Republicans are doing in Congress. And I know we've talked about this in the show, but I want to reiterate what a terrible thing letting the debt default. Remember, we talked about this before, we'll talk about it again. All of Social Security is the largest purchaser of U.S. government bonds. That's what funds Social Security's interest rate off its government bonds. So, 4-9 trillion, whatever it is that Social Security has, worthless. That means no one has Social Security anymore. You don't get to retire. People who are retired now starve to death and die. That's it. Poof. No more Social Security. Sovereign wealth funds. Saudi Arabia, China, Japan, Canada, France, Switzerland, you name it. They're invested heavily, trillions of dollars, into U.S. government bonds. Every bank, financial institution, hedge fund, pension fund, the basis, the actual foundation of all of their investments, U.S. Treasury bonds. So that the entire financial institution, financial infrastructure collapses as well. So not only will countries not be able to pay their bills, you won't be able to pay your bills, old people won't be able to pay their bills, banks won't be able to pay their bills, everyone is absolutely toast. Absolutely toast. So if you want to crash the global economy, in a way that might not ever be able to be repaired, you let the debt default. This is why Jamie Dimon went to Congress and he went to individual Republicans. Is basically, I'm going to paraphrase, but he probably said, if you don't raise the debt ceiling, I'm going to hire Blackwater and they're going to kill you. That would be my guess, is what Jamie Dimon probably said to everyone who's waffling on the debt ceiling right now. Is, hey, we're going to kill you because you are going to crash the global economy, and that's going to crash JP Morgan Chase. It's a big, big, big deal. There are ways to address spending. The debt ceiling is not it, because the debt ceiling is all about paying bills we've already racked up. Right? We already swiped the card and bought the tank and the airport and whatever else. Now we need to pay for it. So trying to cut spending isn't going to do anything there. It's bad place. So, there. Is it dark outside yet? It is dark outside. So, shabam. Okay. Off. I'm not wearing a fancy shirt today. I got my Make Lovecraft, Not Warcraft shirt on with a cuddly Cthulhu. Because I'm tired. I've been kicking ass all day. I do have a beautiful Hawaiian shirt from Andrew Stewart, but I'll have to get worn Friday. It's hot. I'm a sweaty mess. So, you know what? T-shirt day. I deserve it. You deserve it. We're all going to enjoy the art of Oglaf. If you guys don't know what Oglaf is, it is the dirtiest medieval comic strip in the entire world. Absolutely filthy, pornographic, and hilarious. Oglaf.com. I have all the books. They're so funny. Comes out every Sunday, and it's hilarious. Is that it, Monkey? Have anything to talk about? I don't know. Well, you guys will probably know more what's going on today than I do, because I've been in a dusty garage all day. So, yeah. All right. ATX Kevin, let's go. B2B brand. If odds are high, the default can happen. Who will be blamed? Both sides. One side, previous administration, the American public. Blame China. Someone is weighing the options with bad scales. I say blame the guys who won't raise the debt ceiling. That's what I say. Is there's one group of people who can just go, yeah, we'll raise the debt ceiling, and then it's done. Zip zop, all done. So yeah, there's one group of people who are to blame for that. So they're gonna get the blame for it, because all I do is say, yeah, we'll pay our bills, but they're just waffling, and they're waffling in a way that's just silly. Like, want to make a work requirement to get Medicaid. Well, if you are working, then your employer provides your medical care, right? So the only reason you need Medicaid is if you aren't working. So what happens when, I don't know, let's say 15% of the workforce is unemployed all of a sudden because you caused a global recession? Oops. Oh, you gotta find work. There is no work. The economy's crashed. Well, I guess you're not gonna have healthcare. That's the stupid catch-22 we're gonna be in. Just give everybody healthcare, just regardless if they're working or not. Give them healthcare, and then they can move jobs. They can do the job that they dreamed of. They don't have to sit at Walmart all the time. They can, become a landscape architect. Do something that, because they got healthcare. They can become entrepreneurs and not have to worry about health insurance. They can do all sorts of beautiful things in our economy without having to worry about health insurance. Just give them healthcare. Do it already. Justin Stewart. So wait, the HTF is the sun green? Oh, how the fuck sun green? So how does Superman charge up with a green sun? Comics fail science again. Yes, the sun is green. Where the sun peaks is in the Roy G. Biv, and it's the very top of the curve. So in the center of that curve is green. But because green is in the center, it's a very solid blend of all the other colors, which makes the sun kind of yellow-white. So yeah, sun is a green star. Yeah, comics screwed that up big time. Chris Collins, happy birthday. Still didn't get it. Faster. Happy birthday, Houston. I'm riding the Distinguished Gentleman's Ride this Sunday. Oh, that's right. Sorry, one sec. Let me go back to the Twitter. Told me to remind you, and you've reminded me. And where was it? Notifications. One second. I'll have to scroll to it. It might take a while. We'll get there. Where was it? I was going to get this all set up ahead of time. And now you're reminding me that I forgot to print out Don Caesar Shadum's thing. So I got to print that out too because I'm a ding-dong and I forgot to do that because I've been in the garage all day. We're going to scroll and we're going to keep yakking and we're going to scroll and we're going to scroll and we're going to scroll. And it's in here somewhere. I only get 9 billion things a day here. Okay, where are you? It's got to be coming up. It's got to be here. It's got to be there. Is it there? No. Is it there? No. How about here? There? No. All right. Working. Okay. Nope. Oh my gosh, I do get a lot of notifications in a day. Holy smokes. This is a lot. Holy moly. Okay. Where was it? Where was that motorcycle ride thing? It's here somewhere, man. I know it. Was it before or after? What time of the day was it that you sent it to me? Here. Oh. There it is. Okay. All right. Copy link address. Go there. Go there. Okay. So, also Brian, longtime listener, several-time caller. Would you share this on tonight's show? I'm riding my Triumph Thruxton with a Watsonian sidecar in the DRG for Men's Health Awareness, and it did not open up Chrome. There it is. All right. This bad boy. Yeah, look at that sexy beast right there. So we got British cycle, British sidecar, little side bullet. Raising money for Men's Health. Let's go to the link for that. There we are. Gentleman's Ride fundraiser. Faster. I'll put the link in there. Help folks out. Also, tweeted out a GoFundMe earlier for a Proud Billy, Frill Billy on Twitter. Running through a tough spot. Is between jobs. Hopefully getting a new job here, but doesn't want to get evicted. So help them out as well. But yeah, so faster. Raising money. Raised $404 so far. All right, fantastic. Help them out. Put the link in the chat. Okay. All right. Oh god, the daytime one was on. Turn off the nighttime one. I didn't turn off the daytime one. I got 3 of them on here now. So I checked both nighttime ones. I didn't check the daytime one. Okay. So, anyway. Faster reminded me of that. And there we are. Okay. Travis Murray, this motherfucker needs to be on every day. Sorry. So, what was I doing Monday? I had to do crap all day Monday. I did crap all day Monday, and I don't remember what it was I was doing. What was I doing? It was like 2 days ago, and I can't remember what I was doing. I know I was working all day, and I was working all night. And yesterday, a friend wanted to buy a camping trailer, and she doesn't have a truck. She's like, hey, I want to buy this camping trailer. I need an office, so I need you to go with me, see the camping trailer, see if it's roadworthy and worth buying. And if it is, hook up to your truck. We're going to drive it back and park it at my house in Seattle. I was like, all right, cool. I knew it was going to take all day. And it took all day. And The trailer says 1967 aristocrat, land warrior, land commander, whatever it's called. It's dry, doesn't have a leaky roof. Like, hey, fantastic. Tires are all right, not that old. There's some grease in the axles. Thing hooks up. What didn't work were the tail lights. So we had to get magnetic lights, plunk, run the cable, plug them into the truck. And the cable, it's female in the truck, male in the cable, plug, right? Except there's a rubber housing around the male plug, so it can't plug in because the female one on the truck has a rubber coat in. So I got a pocket knife and I'm cutting the crap off. Set the knife down, pulled some rubber off, picked it up again, except somehow flipped the knife around and then pressed the knife blade in my finger and then just bled all over this dude's driveway. I'm talking so much blood. Oh my gosh. It was just trying to keep it covered with my thumb and just bleeding down my arms, bleeding everywhere. And I was like, hey, man, do you have a Band-Aid? And the guy's like, oh, yeah, no problem. Goes in and gets a Band-Aid and comes out. It's like, I think a Band-Aid's not going to do it. I'm like, all I can do right now is a Band-Aid. So wrap it up some tape after that. And then we took it into Seattle. And oh, my God, taking a trailer onto the ferry. If you want to drive onto the ferry, $20, right? We'll take a trailer, like a short little trailer. So it's like 2 cars, right? 1 car and then another car length of trailer. Should you think $40, right? No. $84.60 to take a trailer onto the ferry. Yeah, so $84, take a trailer on the ferry, and then take it to her house, and she's got this skinny little driveway. This tiny little skinny little driveway. It's about exactly the width of the trailer, which would have been fine. I could back that sucker up any day, except there's this giant 15-passenger church van parked on the other side of their skinny street. So I couldn't take a good single shot, and it took like an hour of backing that thing in the driveway. Her being like, you're still on the lawn. Can you straighten out? I'm like, no, there's a giant van in my way. I can't straighten out. And it was just a lot of that. Eventually got parked, and I was like, fuck it. It's good. Good enough. You want to do it? We'll fix it when your neighbor gets that back from their round-the-world cruise or whatever else. They can't move their van. What am I talking about? I have no idea. Travis Martin's asked me to be on every day. I can try, but sometimes you just gotta do things to help your friends and family and murder blackberries in your yard that tear the shit out of you. So there's those things you gotta do. B2B Brands give everybody a nice lesson on colors here. Talking about sun's green. That's why it's true. It's why plants are green, because it helps them get the most of the sunlight. It's Liddy. Merry Hanukkah. I can't tell if you're a bit early or a bit late on that one. Jason Blackwell. Hey, Houston. What time of the week has the most grief? Saturday morning. Oh. It's Liddy. MMTLP News. Some report came out for next bridge. I don't know. I haven't read it yet. So I'm sure there's something out there, but we're waiting for Friday. I think, if I understand Rosa correctly, the court should mumble something in the Northern District of Florida on Friday. We're going to have her on. Mark your calendars. We're going to have her on Sunday, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Atlantic. It'll be probably an hour, 90-minute chit-chat with her. Get an update of what's happened with the court, what's happening with her. So that'll be a special Sunday show to make up for the fact I didn't do a show on Monday. So hopefully that'll work out for you guys. But yeah, 1 p.m. Pacific, 4 p.m. Atlantic, Sunday, May 21st. We'll have Rosa on for her first visit in like 5 months, and we'll check in and see how she's doing. Apparently she moved apartments, so that's a big deal. And has to get a new car because her other car crapped out. I wanted that much from her. And her new apartment does not have a gas stove, so she will complain to us about that. So expect that fully. Poto Kai Kai Psyop? Sure. B2B Brand, FINRA is trying really hard to kill Antera. Think there will be fallout from this, or have they had enough time to transfer the liabilities elsewhere? Antera had some news. Okay, they had to sell a bunch of ape, and then they bought a bunch of AMC with it, because they can't have this 20% or more voting share, which I think they had almost 30% when they bought all those apes. Because that's the only reason the lawsuit came about. So this is maybe their ability trying to fix it. Then it comes out they have a short position on AMC, which I said all along they're a short hedge fund. Of course they got a short position on this. And now it's revealed they might have the largest short position on AMC. So I wish, we could rewind, go back in time, all the way back to December when this whole deal happened. And I said, this is stupid, Adam Aaron. Don't do it. They're going to screw you. And I got so many people, they're so angry, Houston, you're a shill, blah, blah, what do you know? You don't have shit, blah, 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 blah. And so far, I have been right every friggin' time, every time, when it comes to saying, Adam Aaron, don't do that, and then he does it, and then don't do that because these guys are not to be trusted, and then it turns out they're not to be trusted. They're shorting your company. We knew they were shorting your company, and then it turns out that they weren't just shorting your company, they were shorting your company more than anybody else out there. So why do you help them destroy your company? Why? ¿Por qué? Just what I want now is like the 1,000 AMC subscribers who ditched my channel and told me to like shove it up my butt. I want every single solitary one of you guys to come back into the comment section sometime this week, and I want you to apologize and ask for forgiveness. Be like, we are so sorry that we doubted you, because it turns out you were right the entire time, Houston. That you were correct, and we're a bunch of chuds who are drinking the Kool-Aid and for some reason think Adam Aaron in his like greasy stained suits is the answer for this. The dude's gonna fuck you every single time. Just hard with an unlubricated, like pop can sized big old dangler. And you're gonna be like, thank you, sir. That hurt a lot, but maybe next time it won't. That's what you're gonna do. So just, he does not have your best interests at heart, dude. If he did, this would have been solved 2 years ago. They could have used all of the fucking just amped people who are for this company, raised more than enough cash to pay off all their debt, and they would have been out of this by like May of 2021. But no, they did it the only way that prolongs our suffering. And just I'm not right about everything. I admit I miss stuff all the time. I fuck up. But this, I have been batting a frickin' 1,000. All the other AMCers, they made their fortunes doing their little call options thingies, and they've all left their channels, and none of them are talking about it anymore. They're all done. They've closed their OnlyFans, and now they're just tweeting about Elon Musk all the time, hoping that, that will get them a whole bunch of, like, I don't know, MAGA followers. But yeah, I've been just aces, absolute aces on this the whole time. Adam Aaron should not be CEO. There should be a different CEO. They're going bankrupt. They've racked up $5 billion in debt and managed to remunerate the board and the executives to like $200 million in that time. All of them jettisoned and sold all their shares at the absolute peak, and then watched it just get shorted right back down to $5 again. They suck. They're bored as a bunch of people who ran Blockbuster, Radio Shack, Washington Mutual. A bunch of companies just don't even exist anymore. So, clean house, man. I don't know how else to do it. I don't know how we get the votes behind us, because the board, the way the articles of corporation, what do we call it, are written, makes it very hard to clean house with the board without somebody just buying the whole company. But I talked about it last year. We need to get an actual investor on the board. Somebody who has shares. I mean, there are people in this chat right now who own more shares in the company than all of the executives combined at AMC. Right? Like, you should have the voting power to go, get the fuck out of here, and shove those people off. But we haven't been able to do it. They suck. Yeah. Okay, where was I? How'd I get on that news anyway? Oh, it was the Kill Antera thing. Yeah, and Antera might get destroyed on this one. Because it's a little blatant, it's a little obvious to be playing both sides. And Finra might be like, yeah, we have to do something to somebody because we aren't going to do it on next bridge. So you're going to be sacrificial lamb on this one. I wouldn't doubt. Michael Harrow, Houston, instead of fixing that lawnmower, you should have hired 3 pretty Swedish women in size and invited them to join you in your hot tub after they were done. Well, the hot tub's broken also. Everything's just breaking around here. So they can join me in the mosquito pond that I created in my backyard. I need a new hot tub too. I am a happier person when I've got the hot tub. It is like top purchases of my entire life, right? Monkey butt, number 1, hands down, number 1 purchase. Number 2, my memory foam mattress. I get better night's sleep than I ever did before. It was a no-brainer, and I'm so glad I did it. Number 3 was my original Coleman inflatable hot tub. I spent 30 hours a week for 4 years in that thing until it broke. Got a replacement. That one broke immediately, and I've not been happy since. So if I can go back and get another Coleman one, I'll gladly spend another 4 years in that thing. But man, I'd be doing shows from that hot tub right now. Like today would be a perfect night to sit in that hot tub, do a show. You guys have no idea if I'm wearing shorts or not. I don't care. But I need a inflatable hot tub. So bad. Cheap, crappy, lazy spa. Breaking all over the place. All right. You guys can't tell I'm a little bibbly today. I am completely exhausted. Okay. Anxiety Lord, happy 301st show. Oh, yeah. No. I think, oh, shit, it's 302. I didn't change the number on it, and I didn't change the name. That's one thing I didn't do. Okay. Change that 302. Change the title to Houston. Houston lost his mind today. There we go. Save. Ta-da! Now it's 302. Happy 302 show. Bam. Okay. That's fixed. If you guys do a refresh, you'll see that pop up, maybe, hopefully. Okay. Anyway, happy 301st show. I saw purple gold the other day. Don't know that existed. What does gold come in so many colors? Well, why does gold come in so many colors? It's their alloys. So gold itself is gold is gold is gold is gold. But you can make like rose gold. You can make white gold. You can do all this stuff. And you're just mixing alloys, different color alloys in there. Purple, I'm not sure how purple's made. If I were to think, I'm trying to think like, you might be able to mix copper and cobalt or something and get the kind of a red and blue and mix them together. Maybe you get a purple. There might be a way of like ionizing the surface of the metal like you do with like you've seen ionized like carabiners at the store, like stuff like that. Get colors out of it. I'll have to look into how they would mix to make a purple. Seems kind of nifty. I mean, it's an expensive thing to experiment with because you mix the gold in and everything, and then it can be a pain in the ass to pull the gold back out again if it doesn't work out. Got to do all the acid baths and recycling and stuff. But yeah, whoever figured that out, cool. I'd love to see it sometime. Homer's Ghost, Bing Bong. Bing Bong? Is Jamie here? I haven't seen Jamie in forever. BB Brand, Reagan started the death of our financial woes. Apparently someone has decided it's time to finish the job. Well, wasn't it Grover Norquist who said that he wanted to make government small enough they could drown it in the bathtub? Everyone's like, oh, yeah. You guys, I don't know if you noticed this, but the government is who makes our roads and has our weather satellites and the GPS systems and educates our kids and builds our ports and protects us for fires and police and military and runs our parks and water systems and sewage treatment plants and all sorts of things. So if you drown that in the bathtub, what then? The roads never get paved again. If your port has a breakdown, there's no one to like float a bond to build new cranes or something, or redo the pilings, or it's just. I know people like to think like, hey, we made the government smaller, it'd be so much better. But those same people don't understand that the only reason they have any wealth whatsoever is because of the government reducing the risk in their investments to make it so easy for them to get wealthy. If you don't have an educated population, you don't have interstate highways, train systems, airports, seaports, you name it, your goods don't get moved around. If you don't have the ability to like move your shipping container full of $7 billion in goods out of the way of a hurricane, because there's a geosynchronous satellite 30,000 miles above the ocean going, hey, there's a hurricane right there, go that way. They would just go into the hurricane and everyone would fucking die, and then everything sinks, and then you have a bunch of Garfield phones floating around the Mediterranean. There is a lot of use we get out of this system, and if you cut some of these programs, all of a sudden you go, hey, why is this thing not working anymore? That's because there was a whole agency devoted to making it work, right? Like, yes, there's bloat, yes, there's waste, but there is in any system. The difference is that the bloat and waste in like government is usually from getting screwed by contractors, right? So we need to build this 4-stall toilet in this campground in the national park. And the lowest bid they get is for like $700,000 to do $30,000 construction. Well, they got to go with it. It's the lowest bid, so they go with it. And everyone's like, how dare you waste all that money? But then you have, I don't know, a company that's $5 billion in debt, and they give their executives $200 million in compensation. Okay, there's a fucking waste of money for a whole bunch of people in the private sector, right? They're just going to screw everybody else. My dad, for years, his job for the Navy, he's an architect. And later on in life, he wasn't designing things anymore. He was just managing construction, essentially trying to make sure that contractors weren't screwing over the taxpayers, because contractors will gladly screw over the taxpayers anytime they get. So he's over at Bangor, the Navy base, the submarine base that has the largest collection of nuclear warheads in the entire world, that if Kitsap County were to secede from the rest of the United States, would be the third largest nuclear power on Earth. And they have housing. They build housing for Navy families and stuff like that. And in this housing, they've a set contract. Okay, you're going to build this officer's house. It's going to cost $300,000. You can do these things, build this fence, whatever. And my dad might discover like, hey, this fence should be like $2,000, and they're charging us $16,000 a fence. That doesn't make any sense, because it's 50 feet of 2x4s, 16 4x4s you put in the ground. There's no reason this thing should cost that much money. And he'll go out to the site and he'll look at it and go, oh, rather than take a 6-foot post and dig a 2-foot hole, they're getting a 16-foot post and they're digging a 12-foot hole in the ground. So they have to dig and dig and dig and dig, and they just sink this post in there. And they go, oh, it took us all day to dig that hole, and therefore we got to charge $1,000 a hole we dig. So they'd be like, hey, you don't need to do that. You're wasting our money, you're wasting our time, so we have this lawyer over here who has to now sue you to make you do the job right. But yeah, there's these compliance folks all the time that have to make sure that those things aren't happening. But like, companies don't have that. The guy in charge of making sure that no one gets screwed with the company, he's screwing everybody at the company, because what else is he going to do, right? CEO, you got to make sure things run straight. He's like, cool, totally. I'll make sure everything's run smoothly. I'm going to give myself $1 billion bonus. We're going to do $60 billion of stock buybacks, and we're going to lay off 10,000 employees. So there you go. It's a different level, man. It's a different level. And because certain people want to drown the government, they removed a lot of vertical integration in the government that made things cheap. Think about the military, right? You guys have the picture in your head that if somebody misbehaves in the army, they have to go like peel potatoes, right? They got KP, kitchen patrol. That's not a thing anymore. Like, you might not have army cooks. Why? Because they phased them out and they hired KBR to cook the food for the military. During the Iraq War, KBR had the contract to feed the troops over in Iraq. And KBR was charging $100 per soldier, per meal, per day. $300 a day to feed the soldiers. No. We can do school lunches for like $1.40 a kid. Why on earth are we spending $300 a day to feed a soldier halfway around the world? Because the army isn't doing the logistics of it anymore. They don't have some, nerd who's like, I'll have like 2 left feet or something, whose job it is to carry on a clipboard and do the logistics of feeding 20,000 soldiers at a time. Okay, we need, 8 million pounds of potatoes, 7 million pounds of beans. We need to make sure that like 8 quadrillion cows get slaughtered for everyone's hamburgers. Put them on a bunch of ships, ship them over here, and we got all these army cooks cooking this up. No, it's KBR. KBR is all for profit, and they're going to screw you. Absolutely screw you. So, Norway can build a tunnel. It's 8 miles long, 4 lanes wide for like $400 million. We can do the same here in the United States. It costs us $12 billion. Because Norway has a national construction company who's on salary, and they just get told to go do something. I'm like, okay, we'll go do it. Whereas we got to find the lowest bid. And the lowest bidder bids way too much. And then they figure out ways to like slow it down and fuck up the entire process, do overcharges. And then like, oh, there's no way we're going to meet our target. And if we just, we've spent all our money, so we're going to walk away. So the government's forced to pay them even more. It's a racket, dude. It's a total racket. And I'm on a lot of tangents tonight. I'm not sure how far through the chat we're going to get today. Okay. Where were we? Oh, the Reagan one. Okay, Scott Pollan. GameStop showing strength the last few days. Lots of optimism looking forward to the quarter 1 2023 numbers, including Hogwarts game and Mario Zelda launches. Lines will show on quarter 2 2023. Yeah. I know Zelda, right? Patricia Somerset. I know her. She's played Zelda for like the last several Zelda games. She was my sister's roommate's roommate before my sister. Yeah, she's a cool lady. She's a good band called Somerset as well. Lovely voice. Does lots of voiceovers. You'll hear her in like Rainbow Six, Call of Duty, and all sorts of things. Just a dead sexy voice. Patricia, hi, if you're ever watching the show. Javi A. Houston, good evening. What the important thing to teach about the Silk Road and the oceanic trade? Oh, what's an important thing? What's the important thing? Well, I mean, the Silk Road did involve some ocean voyages. We can pull up ye old Google Earth here. Because, we love our Google Earth around these parts. Okay. Gotta leave the Oregon coast here because we were talking about gold last time. Gold at Gold Beach. All right. Silk Road, nothing to do with this place. Silk Road has everything to do with this place. Okay, so there were different paths for the Silk Road. Some of them brought it from China down through Burma, Bangladesh, into India. Parts of it brought it into Southeast Asia. Other parts had to come over the Himalayas or around the Himalayas to bring things into Iran and further. One of the meeting places was Constantinople. It's a meeting of two continents where Asia meets Europe here, right? The Bosphorus. So you had all sorts of spices coming through here, but also you had sea routes. Before Europeans ever came through, you had lots of sea routes that came from India through the Arabian Peninsula into Africa. And these things would bounce all over the place, trading frankincense, myrrh, guava, I don't know, all sorts of crap that move around here. But when the Silk Road got opened, or more like Europeans became aware of it, was when Marco Polo made his trip across to China. It took him 4 years, and you'd like eat his goats and all sorts of things. But they got in. They met which Khan? I can't remember. Was it Kublai Khan? I can't remember which Khan it is now. Might have been Kublai Khan then. And they went, holy crap! Yeah, we got all these derelict people in Europe that would love to have silk and noodles and things. And China was like, cool, bring it. And so the trade opened up, and land routes opened up, and it was a couple hundred years later. Was Columbus thinking, I can go the other way around the planet, and I can hit India, shabam, and we'll have a sea route, not have to worry about camels and horses and oxen and all sorts of stuff coming across the continents, where it's arduous. We'll just sail it, and in a couple of weeks, boom, spices. And so that's when sea routes started opening up. And then you had Magellan going around the world and around the Cape and the Horn of Africa, and discovering that all these different routes could happen. We could do sea routes, and we can ferry them over the land where the Suez Canal is now, and we can shorten stuff. But yeah, it's I don't know if it's pretty standard, but like think about, you have stuff you want to get somewhere. I want to get gold to China, and I want to pay the Chinese with gold to get big old box of black pepper and bring it back to Europe. How would you do it? Well, you'd have caravans, right? You march and slog your way across, or put in a ship and let nature just blow you over there. And so you had all sorts of merchants and middlemen all throughout the Middle East. So the Caliphate got filthy rich off the Silk Road because they were the middlemen. Like, the Europeans wanted it, they had to come to them to get it. And the Chinese wanted them, had to bring the stuff to them. So they became these middlemen. So they're just great giant cities. Baghdad, Damascus, Istanbul, they all got huge off of being the middlemen for these trades. What was the actual question again? Where were we? Oh, what important things to teach about Silk Road and oceanic trade? Yeah, that was it. The oceanic trade really brought a lot of military force. Like, it's really hard to bring armies across. Alexander the Great did it. He got into the western edge of India before he got too gravely wounded that he died. And he may have survived that, but his boy toy died, and I think he was just so sad that he didn't really have anything to hold on for. He's like, fuck it, I'm just gonna give up. And he died while his armies are trying to bring him back to Greece for the first time in a decade. But once these ocean-going vessels, the Portuguese man-o-war, the Spanish man-o-wars, those things were able to get into the Indian Ocean, they really changed the balance of power in a big way. Because Chinese junks, they were formidable ships. They could go all over the place. They did not have the firepower of a Portuguese man-o-war, a Spanish man-o-war. Even the British merchant ships had more firepower than Chinese junk. And so, the British East India Company, the Dutch East India Company, these guys moved in and took over huge swaths of land. It took it for Queen and Country, but really it was private companies that were running these things, and the militaries for the governments were essentially mercenaries for these companies. So you get into the Spice Isles, into the Indonesian archipelago. It was all Dutch. All the Dutch were in here. The British got into Singapore, Malaysia, Sri Lanka, India, Burma. Like half the crown jewels are from Burma and India. They were, gifts from the Maharaja or kings who happened to be there. But really, it was like, that's a cool thing. You're gonna gift it to our queen. They're like, what? But that's ours. Like, gift it. Oh, here you go, most noble Queen Victoria. It is all yours. Take our precious crown jewels. The only one that might have like a legit path of gnarliness is the Black Prince Ruby, which is the centerpiece on Queen Elizabeth II's crown. The Black Prince Ruby still was like stolen. It was a ballast ruby. It's a spinel, 97 carat spinel. And those ballast rubies came from up here in Afghanistan, in this border area with Tajikistan. And it was all part of the Indian Maharajas, their empire spread up here. And about, I don't know, 1,000 years ago or so, they found this great group of rubies. They thought they were rubies, really they were spinels. And so the famous spinels of the Maharaja were found here. And somehow it tumbled into the hands of somebody, in Iran, made its way to Iraq, and then probably during the Crusades, made it all the way up to England. And the Black Prince stayed with the British. I can't remember the exact total story. But anyway, he got murdered in his sleep, and someone took the 97-carat ruby. And it's called rough polish, a polish in the rough. So it just kind of smoothed out the natural shape of the stone. And King Richard had it on his crown. And apparently, in a crusade back, Third Crusade or something, he had on his helmet, on his crown, and a battle axe bounced off the thing. So someone would have like cleaved his entire head in half, but it bounced off the Balas ruby, off the Black Prince ruby. And so then Queen Elizabeth had it in her head. But wasn't necessarily like straight up stolen via colonial ways. It kind of passed through traders' hands until Black Prince got murdered for it. I can't remember the Black Prince's name. It's been a long time. I wrote about it a long time ago in some blog post, like 12 years ago. It's all kind of... Plus, I'm half kooky right now. But, talking about spice routes. Yeah, anyway, then spice turned into opium, and then British got in a war with China, and had the Boxer Rebellion, and... Yakety schmackety, mousey's tongue. There you go. Chris Collins' mower fully working? Not yet. It's driving. For a little bit, it cut some grass, and then the belt was like, I give up. So I need to go get a new belt tomorrow, and then hopefully next week we can fit it on. And then we can mow that yard in record time. Oh my goodness, it's going to be so wonderful to mow that yard. Woo! I'll like mow it every night just for the hell of it, just because I can. It's wonderful. It just, it's great. Okay. Scott Paul and President Treasury have alternative means to pay bills. Well, we do have the 14th Amendment, which basically says, by law, we have to pay our debts. I think Biden will probably invoke the 14th Amendment. Be like, look, I'm invoking the 14th Amendment. Sorry, suck at Congress. You had your opportunity. And then Congress, McCarthy specifically, is going to have to sue the presidency for us to stop paying our bills. Now, is that something you want to carry into election season? That, like, I am suing the president to keep him from paying our bills. That's not what people on Social Security want to hear. It's not what people, in the military want to hear, who get paid by those bills, right? Not what people to the highway department, parks, VA, like, you don't want to be the dude who sues so that we can, like, default on our debt. A Lannister pays their debts. That's what you do. Peter Joy says default not going to happen. Just politics is normal. I don't know. There's a lot of kooky people who have McCarthy by the balls. Remember the 5 million votes it took to try and get McCarthy to be a Speaker of the House, and they almost couldn't do it. And he had to basically sign away all of his power as Speaker to these like 20 absolute insane people. Your Marjorie Taylor Greene, your Boeberts, your Matt Gaetz. These people are bonkers, and they cannot be reasoned with, and they've got kooky ass ideas. And he is now like beholden to them through this agreement to make him Speaker. He had to sell his soul to them, and they have no interest in raising the debt ceiling, which means Jamie Dimon's gonna have to spool up the mercenary fund and probably take care of them all. But yeah, it's gonna be I think it's gonna be pretty dire and down to the wire. Beauty brand aluminum can be anodized in almost every color. Oxidation or impurities controls the color. Gold doesn't oxidize, so the only way to change its color is to add impurities. Yes, gold is noble. It does not oxidize, does not patina, which is one of the reasons why it makes it so valuable. Is that gold is gold is gold is gold. You can have a bar of gold from 10,000 years ago, and you pull out of a cave and it is gold. Whereas if you have a bar of silver or a bar of copper, it is rusted to shit and is unrecognizable. Yeah. I missed super chats. Oh my goodness. Mo ass for your ass. I'm so sorry. Today was the worst day of my life. My ex got hit by a school bus and I lost my job as a bus driver. Yeah, that's pretty good. All right, Jimmy D. How trendy will cannibalism be after we default? All the cool kids will be doing it, Jimmy. Now, personally, I need to get my cardio up so I don't get caught, and it's easier for me to run down my neighbors. So yeah, gotta go back to the gym while I still can. It's a good note. If you don't want to get eaten, it's just like a zombie movie. You got it, cardio, 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 cardio. Where did I leave off? I lost myself. People talk about different colors of gold, and pure platinum and nickel, blah blah blah. Common sense beats intelligence. Somewhere a Hawaiian shirt is crying. Yeah. You know, just gotta throw a curveball at you guys every once in a while. What do you think GME is popping up today? Do you think UVXY will rise if the market crashes? UVXY will definitely rise if the market crashes. I didn't even look at the market today. What's happening? What's going on? Looks like everything went a little green today. Bed Bath went up. MetaMap went up. Huh. GME quite a pop. 4% today? Not too shabby. All right. There you go. So what was our low this week? Our low was at 2044 up to 2288. It's a pretty good climb so far. It's not a freakishly climb. Not high enough to really trigger gamma for next week. But my guess is max pain's probably around 21. This week should be the monthlies. So we're approaching that. So, float around 21 for max pain. Might trigger a few options. Keep your eyes peeled Monday. Monday is when Stalking Horse bid is due for Bed Bath & Beyond. If you guys know what the Stalking Horse bid is, it comes from a term of like some game fowl are scared of humans, but they don't give a shit about horses. So you hide behind the horse and pick off the duck or whatever you're hunting for, pheasant. I don't know. I'm not a hunter. But anyway, Stalking Horse bid is sort of like the sneaky first bid on a bankrupt company. And so that bid is due on Monday the 22nd for Bed Bath & Beyond. I have no idea who the Stalking Horse bidder is. Some have alluded to it being Carl Icahn. But that's all speculation. So Stalking Horse bid comes in, and then on the 28th, I think it is when all other bidders have to bid. And to be a bidder, you have to bid more than the Stalking Horse bid. So say the Stalking Horse bid comes in at, I don't know, $1.5 billion, which covers the debt and maybe a few chunks of change for shareholders. That's okay. $1.5 billion, whatever. That means the other 20 interested parties all have to bid more than that. And if they bid more than that by the 28th, they're considered bidders. And then on June 2nd, the Bankruptcy Court will hold an auction of a participant of all those other bidders, and the starting bid will be the highest price from the 28th. This is where things get interesting, because there's lots of talk and chatter that the ultimate bid will kind of come out to the billion and change to pay off the debt, plus another $5 to $6 a share, which that happens, cool. It's not guaranteed, all speculative. But so that put the bid at, I might have to bring out the calculator to do this one. Calculator. There you are. All right. So clear. It's 450 million shares, somewhere around there. So 450. 1, 2, 3. times 5. So that would put the bid at about 3. So this is how much it would cost to do a buyout of $5 a share for all those shares, plus $1 billion and change for the outstanding debt. So looking at probably $3.75 billion. That's what it might be at the end of auction. So let's say the first bid for the stocking horse is $1.5 billion, and then the next couple of bids come at maybe $2 billion to $3 billion, and then auction at least 3.5, maybe. Depends on how many people want it. It does seem like a lot. We have to remember this company in August of this year was worth, for at least a brief couple of days, was worth $13 billion. They got brand recognition. They've got a lot of logistics. They've got the institutional knowledge. And if they let that stuff go, then they lose the ability to corner those markets. So, maybe somebody will be willing to throw $3-4 billion behind it. I don't know. I mean, I've already written off my shares and my call options as being a complete loss. But, there's something inside of me that's going dun 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 dun. And hope springs eternal. Be cool if it happens. Might be dumb enough maybe on Monday to pick up more call options if someone will let me buy them. But right now call options is a penny or $1. $1 for a 50-cent call option. And you can buy 1,000 of them for $1,000. And if the price does come out to be $5 a share, he's made $500,000. If it comes out to be 55 cents a share, I just made, $10,000. Like, that's okay. I'm cool with that. I don't know. Let's, I'm gonna roll the dice, see what happens. Citizen 54. CDS panel says Credit Suisse AT1 wipeout won't prompt payout. Panel sees AT1 bonds as junior to notes underlying the credit default swaps. Securities had been at the center of a market debate. Yeah. So I think it's interesting. Basically what they're saying is, if you bet against us, we're not going to pay out. Which really will destroy the ability of raising funds for quite a few of these. Who's going to hedge their bets if their bets never pay off, right? Like, you can buy the bonds that they're not going to pay, or you can buy the credit default swaps that they're also not going to pay. How do you hedge? Absolute silliness there, Citizen 54. Just silly. Silly. We should and can do better. But you notice that UBS paid $3 billion for Credit Suisse and lost $17 billion doing it. So that's how toxic Credit Suisse was that they paid $3 billion for the honor of losing $17 billion. That's probably just the start. There's probably so much more toxic shit that they're going to be like shoveling to try and get rid of from the Credit Suisse debacle. That's the reason why they're like, oh, we don't want this anymore. But it's like, too late. You guys stuck with it now. Steve G. Hagen, no button up. What the fuck? I thought we were staying classy. Make Lovecraft, not Warcraft. Steve G. Hagen. Scott Paul and GME could use some consolidation and sideways at current price. That'd be nice. Just, keep it rocked at $22, $23. I'm okay with that. And then, push it up a level again after that. Common sense beats intelligence. Charge it to Wall Street synthetic market, world's watching. I'm not sure what that one refers to, but cool. Aaron Salentine, Houston. I'm reading a book called The Power of Awareness by Neville Goddard. He explains that for man to obtain anything, man must not seek it, but have blind faith as a child going towards the goal. That's I don't know. That kind of sounds like that book that Oprah liked a lot called The Secret, where you make a dream board and you just sort of like, oh, dream board, I put a picture of a Bentley up on there, and so a Bentley will manifest soon. I don't know. It takes you back to that thing my mom told me when I was like 6, 7 years old. We're on a long camping trip. We would go for camping for like 3, 4 weeks every summer and just go to different spots. And we passed by hippies, and they'd be with their thumbs out. And my mom would say to me, she's like, Houston, generally don't pick up hitchhikers. But if you're going to pick up hitchhikers, only pick up the ones that are walking. Because if they're just sitting there with their thumb out, expecting a ride, doesn't that people in your life. You want the ones that, you know, they'd love a ride, be fantastic, stick a thumb out and get a ride, but they got to figure out how to get there on their own if they don't have somebody stop and give them a ride. You can't expect it. You have to, like, put some effort in case what you're wishing for doesn't come true. To me, that's the philosophy you have to have. You have to, like, do something to work towards a goal and, like, cut down on those odds that work against you. Yeah, magic can happen. You can win a lotto ticket and, like, poof, all of a sudden I'm a cajillionaire. Life's great. Or you can, like, work towards your goals. You'd be like, hey, I want to open a store that's going to sell dog treats or something, and work towards that goal to be the entrepreneur, or gain a skill to become an engineer and design airplanes and get patents. And you have to do something. You can't just I don't know. I just don't think you can just have blind faith that it's going to come from somewhere. Not all of us are super hot blonde ladies walking down the street and a director says, hey, you want to star in a movie called Supergirl? And you're like, okay, sure, whatever. I've never been in a movie before. And then you make the worst superhero movie of all time in, 1984? When that terrible movie come out? You never saw her again. IMDb.com. Let's find out. Supergirl. Not the TV show. The original movie. 1984. Is it Helen Slater? Let's see here. Bam. This chick. So, yeah, Helen Slater. Was she ever in anything again? Looks like she was. Oh, she's got herself a couple of credits here. She's in music videos. Actress, writer. Oh. They actually have her in the TV show? No way. That's awesome. Come on. Take me back to whenever it was. Just, yeah, she did a couple, like, after-school specials. But apparently, she was walking down the street. And someone's like, you're hot. Want to be Supergirl? She's like, okay. But, you know, not all of us have that je ne sais quoi about us. People are just going to, like, hand us a movie franchise. So, you have to do something. Like, yes, you can be lucky, but just do anything. People will appreciate the story more than be like, I'm just going to sit here and walk blindly towards becoming a corporate overlord. I don't know, Aaron. I'm gonna have to read it, see what it's all about, but keep walking while you got your thumb out. Common sense beats intelligence. My wife got 2 fake knees and a spine plate for free here in Canada. All of it and the scripts. That would be $300,000 here in the U.S. And your insurance company would be like, denied, suffer. Or they'll somehow agree to pay it, and then you're paid $20,000 out of pocket, and then they're going to deny you for everything after that because they're like, you're so expensive already. Calling about single payer now and make all the health insurance scammers pay for it all. Yeah. Yes. Aaron 17. Also, how about MOAS? If we default, how do we MOAS? Do we dip hard and then the own market goes green and all the naked shorts rush to close all the naked short positions? What is your opinion on this? The default's going to be very weird. So we default, the value of every treasury municipal bond just evaporates into thin air, which means the assets under management of every single solitary company crash. Everything crashes. Anything that has to do with government contracts, your Boeing, Lockheed Martin, Raytheon, Airbus, you name it. If they are a government contractor, their companies are worthless because now they can't get paid either, right? Health companies, Medicare can't get paid, so there goes an entire third of healthcare spending. So health insurance companies, poof. Hospitals, poof. No one can get Social Security, which means, if you've got nursing homes, long-term care facilities, adult living, housing, there goes all the financing for that. Anyone's a government paycheck, you're just kind of screwed. You're probably not getting paid. So we no longer have money, and the Federal Reserve may be like, okay, we're going to step in here and just create Federal Reserve notes out of nowhere to keep things going. That might work for a little bit, but then what? We dump a bunch of money onto all the banks again, and then they do stock buybacks, and no, it doesn't trickle down at all. That's probably what happened. Treasury wouldn't have the permission to print, so it wouldn't be like authentic dollars. It'd be these Federal Reserve notes going out as like IOUs. So say the market does collapse. Collapses with it, just turns to shit. Assets disappear, which means they've got nothing to back their margin. So the ratio of their margin to their assets may explode. Granted, if GameStop and AMC and all their shorter companies drop with it to nothing, then they might be okay. Because as long as if the assets shrink and the margin shrinks, then they'll be within the bounds of their margin requirements. But if they don't, if GameStop stays at $23 and their treasuries are worthless that they're using as collateral for their GameStop plays, then they're getting margin called. And the banks may have to try to do anything they can to scrape what they can to keep going. It's going to be really, really gross. And I don't know. Let's say they do margin call Antera or something, right? And they got to go buy a whole bunch of AMC and other things that they shorted. They don't have anything. They try to sell in the market, no one can buy it. So the value of what they're trying to sell plummets even further. So they get pennies back for their initial investments, and they've got, I don't know, $100 billion in liabilities they got to pay out. And those $100 billion in liabilities, the pennies aren't going to cover it. Who's going to have to cover it? The prime broker, the one that just margin called them. And the prime broker doesn't have that money. All their treasuries are worthless now too. So I don't know how this is going to get resolved, because the plan before is everything goes to shit. The prime brokers can't cover, and the Federal Reserve and Treasury go, well, guess we got to print. But now, because the debt ceiling isn't raised, they can't say print, because we cannot create more debt to make more money. And in the future, no one's going to buy our treasuries anymore. They might buy German or Canadian or something. I don't know, but they're not going to buy American. They're not going to buy American treasuries anymore because we can't pay our bills. So we have no way to fund our government anymore. I honestly don't know what the solution is. I'm trying to game theory it in my head right now, and all I see is doom. Lots and lots of doom. I don't know, Aaron. This way is darkness, and what's in that darkness, I don't know, but there's probably unspeakable horrors like Cthulhu waiting for us in there. Common sense beats intelligence. I'm starting a charity for neglected wine shirts. I got the double intro part. I'm an hour behind. Yay. Ted Tremendous, Houston. Stocks have wild price swings. Does it mean that stock is underpriced? AMD, for example, swings. GME has less swings now after split. Apple doesn't swing much. It all depends on the perception of the market. So Apple is seen as the steady, guaranteed, week in, week out, going to make you this much earnings per share, no matter what. They got this cash on hand that if they don't make their earnings per share, they can buy a whole bunch of stock back and then meet their earnings per share. AMD, because they're so devoted to microchips, they're very fickle to the market and the demand of microchips. So if computers get too expensive, people hold off a couple of years from buying a new computer, and then all of a sudden AMD is like, oh, no one's buying new computers. Oh my God, we're gonna die. And all those, then just as they think they're about to die, everyone has to go get new laptops again, and they go, oh, we're living. Everyone's buying new laptops like crazy. So they're much more cyclical. And then you got companies like GameStop, which were so poorly managed for so long that the market as a whole hasn't quite embraced them yet as a company that can make a steady profit quarter over quarter, year over year. And so people are a little trepidatious about granting it that like old faithful status that a company like Apple has. And Apple wasn't there. 20 years ago, Apple wasn't there. 2001, September 12th, 2001 or whatever, you could have bought Apple shares for 25 cents a share. They have since, I think, split like 20 times and are selling for $100 a share right now. So you could have easily like 4,000x that 25 cent investment. So, but they had their own problems during the dot-com bubble, and they're seen as this hardware company, and everyone was into software and yada, yada, yada. And then Steve Jobs came back and, he's like, design. And then everyone wanted to buy their shit. So you can reclaim that space. And then there's blue chip companies that disappear. Your Sears. Sears used to be like day in, day out, year over year, make profit, make profit, make profit, make profit. And then they close the catalog division just in time for the dot-com bubble to start, people buying things online. And then Sears died. If Sears had instead, like, okay, we're going to close down our catalog, but we're going to open up this website where you can get everything that would have been in the catalog online and would pay for publishing. Sears would be Amazon right now. But Sears laid everybody off from their catalog division, and then Amazon was like, hey, you folks that used to work at Sears know how logistics work to mail stuff all over the world. How about you come over here and help us figure it out? And they did. I mean, you used to be able to buy an entire home out of the Sears catalog, and they would deliver all the pieces, and you just go plunk and put it together. But now you can do that on Amazon. I could go to Amazon right now and probably buy a kit house. And some truck will show up 3 weeks from now and just dump it all in my yard and be like, here's the plans, put it together. So they just switch spots. And so, you get the wrong board in there, and they will destroy your company so freaking fast. It is incredible. And then you get the right board in there, like that Leger dude who was brought in to fix T-Mobile. T-Mobile was a mess, and he brought them in, and now they're like the most solid wireless company. They got money hand over fist. They're like the only company not to lose subscribers. And then he's like, peace, did my job. I'm gonna go play with the kids now. So, yeah. I am going on a lot of tangents tonight. There's no way I'm gonna get close to everyone's comments. I am a wild card tonight. Okay, Moas for Yoas. Houston, give a man a match and he'll be warm for a few hours. Set him on fire and he'll be warm for the rest of his life. That's an old one. That's an old one. Cheddar Menace, Houston, did you know there's a printer and ink paper shortage? Inks use the same chemical as hand sanitizer, and it messed it up. People buying printers now and no ink for them to get. Well, I've got 2 bubble jet printers that are broken, and I've got so much ink. So if you need Epson or Canon ink, come to me. I'll hook you up. The laser printer, that thing is unstoppable. Why did I ever get bubble jets before when I knew the lasers existed? I don't know. Watch where I ask. Here's another one. What do you call an inexpensive circumcision? A ripoff. Ooh. Black & Decker Pecker Wrecker slices, dices, circumcises. We Wild spoke to my friend from Mississippi, got Obamacare after years of refusal, said he went from $1,200 to $40 a month, got to choose anything he wants. His kid got dinged in the head. Oh. Was that just added? Or did Obamacare ding him in the head? Citizen 54, Houston, what's your theory on JFK assassination? Was the government involved? Someone was asking me this on Twitter today or yesterday. I can't remember. Everything's blending together. And I was like, I honestly don't care. Because anyone who's involved in the JFK assassination is long dead by now. So if it was like the CIA or some government cabal or a bunch of businessmen, I don't know. Or if it was Fidel Castro, whoever, like they're all dead. We're not going to get our answers for it. So all we have right now is speculation. And that speculation, you can try and confirm whatever bias you have on it. But I think it's a mystery that's just not going to be solved. If Jack Ruby hadn't killed Oswald, maybe we'd have, a trial and answers and people to point to. But it just kind of ran cold, and then the conspiracy theorists went nuts. And the conspiracy theorists, as you guys know, they like to ruin things. They take things that might not be too hard to process, and they like to convolute them and make it really, 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 really complicated. So they're like, there are 5 shooters. They're shooting from this angle and that angle. And why do you need to make things so complicated? Sometimes it's just one dude going pop. Now, was that one dude a communist sympathizer? Maybe. Was that one dude brought in by the CIA to do it? Maybe. I have no idea. And I don't think any of us will ever know. But what I do appreciate about that is there's some fantastic TV shows and movies that have some great jokes about time travel and JFK. Yeah, the Red Dwarf had a great one. I love that episode. We got CT MRI, a specialist appointment, all the tests needed for no extra charge. His wife said without health insurance, they wouldn't have been able to get that done. Oh, it was about the kid who got the head bopped. Ah, yes. Yeah, without health insurance, they wouldn't do that crap. Although, if you are poor and you go to a hospital, it's a nonprofit hospital, and you make less than 3 times the federal poverty line. Federal poverty line is really low. So 3 times the federal poverty line is like $30,000. They're required by law to forgive all that debt if you request it. So usually you can type in the hospital name and debt forgiveness, and you'll come to a single website, you fill it out, be like, I'm poor as shit. And they have to go, all right, all your debt's gone. So if you have gotten into trouble, you're like, oh my gosh, I got in a car accident. I owe so much money. Check it out. Google the hospital's name with the term like debt forgiveness and see if it's there. If they're a nonprofit hospital, they're required to forgive debt for poor people. That's part of the mission, and their nonprofit status in being existed. The New York Times did an incredible investigation this year on the shamefulness of nonprofit hospitals and how they're screwing over poor people, basically bankrupting them, because they're not letting them know that they don't owe on the bill. They profiled a hospital here in Washington, Providence, and there was a woman who, I can't remember exactly how she got injured, but it was thousands of dollars. then the hospital administrator came into a room while she's still like recovering from whatever the problem was. And like, so how are you going to pay for this? And she's like, I'm on Social Security and I can't. Like, ooh, should we set up a payment plan for you? And she's like, I guess so. I don't know. And they set up this insane payment plan with just crazy interest rates. That was like more than her Social Security. And she's like, I'm going to go homeless. And what she didn't know was that the administrator was required to tell her like, hey, you're poor. You don't owe us anything. Because that's part of their charter for being a nonprofit. So if you're poorly insured or are not insured at all, keep that in mind, because most people who aren't insured are poor as shit. So just keep that in mind, that you can tell you, hey, I'm poor, forgive my debt, and have to go, all right, you got us, dang it, we can't screw you over. PG Sunday, so major blue cities are facing a huge homelessness problem. The leaders want to solve it, but only profit from it. More meetings, projects, agencies, etc. Cost of 1 unit permanent housing is $80,000 in LA. Yeah. Because the problem solving is the problem solving. You need to get people in a home. You need to get people health insurance so that they can get the treatment they need, whether it's for mental health, whether it's for substance abuse, etc. They need health. They need access to health, and they need access to a home. And a lot of folks that are displaying all sorts of irrational behavior because they're homeless, it's because they're homeless. Did you give them a roof over their head? You give them food? All of a sudden they're like, whoa, I had time to think about this, and I was acting a little crazy there for a minute. Sorry about that. But now that I've got food in the home, I'm able to like process the things that were going wrong, and I'm much better now. That poor guy that got choked out in the subway, yeah, he's definitely was a mental case, right? The arrest records, assault, all sorts of things, yeah. But what was affecting him at that moment was the fact he had no home and no food. And he was like, I got no home, no food, this is bullshit, blah, and he's losing his mind. And the answer to that was to choke him to death? No, that's not the answer to that. The answer to that is give him a home and give him food. Like, he's an outlier in our society. He's someone who's troubled. When you have someone who's troubled in our society, in any society, the goal should be to protect them. The goal should be to get them to a point where they can rectify whatever issues are ailing them that might be the root cause of their homelessness. If someone's batshit, they can't hold down a job, and their family's like, I'm done dealing with this dude, I can't help anymore. Or maybe their parents died, and they have no family left to help them out. They're going to end up on the streets, and they're going to be our problem, like our visceral problem of like having to step over them every day on our way to work or whatever. Or they're going to be a problem in that they're tying up resources through the police, through the fire department, through charities and social workers and everything else, when the simple solution might be, hey, this person needs to be committed and treated. They need to go to a facility where, they have doctors and group therapy and access to everything, roofs over the head, they're fed, and they can start working on these things. Maybe they need a chemical intervention. Maybe they're schizophrenic or bipolar, and they need, medication to like mellow them out, right? Like, oh, whoa, now that I'm my brain chemistry is working out all right. Those last few years were a real bummer. Or maybe fixing the brain chemistry won't help at all. In that case, permanently commit them. We need to have these systems in place, because yes, like the health of society is reflected a lot in the visual representation of that society. Now, you can be like, let's just fucking blow them all away, get rid of homeless people that way. Well, we're in a system that's going to create more of them. So then we just have like vigilante teams blowing homeless people for no reason. Or we can get to the systemic root of the problem, which is, we've got crappy schools. We've got zero safety net, especially if someone like falls through the cracks, loses their job, is unemployable, and they can't get health insurance and stuff. And we have rampant drug problems, that's for sure. But I don't think drug problems are necessarily the cause of homelessness, but homelessness may lead to a lot of drug problems. That makes sense? Like, in Vietnam, we had tons of dudes that were shooting heroin like crazy. They're drafted, they're sent over to the jungle, they're watching their friends' like faces blow up. They're having a bad time. And if they can shoot up some heroin and escape for a few minutes, they're going to be shooting up heroin every chance they possibly get. But if you look at the data of these dudes that were straight out junkies in the jungles of Vietnam, when they came back to the United States, they weren't using heroin again because they weren't in that environment anymore. The environmental situation led them to find an outlet any way they can. And if you're too poor to get a house, you're too poor to get a decent meal, but you can get like some drugs, I'm like, fuck it, I'm going to go into outer space for a few minutes because I can't do anything else. Well, yeah. You're going to drink your 40 and you're going to smoke some pills, and that's you're going to be your outlet. But you remove the person from that situation where all of a sudden they have like food in the house, all of a sudden like they don't need to escape. So the physiological urge that can exist in this case can completely evaporate. Then you get them in the treatment programs and you get them all that stuff. It's definitely a lot of answers out there, and we aren't really doing any of them in the United States. We're just kind of creating more problems. We love to like compound our problems, make it even worse. Be like, look at these failures, and then we vote for the people to make those failures happen all over again, and it's just asinine. Like, try the one thing that helps. Put them in a home. Give them some food. There, half the problem solved. Instead, we're going to spend over $100,000 per homeless person per year, and it'd almost be better just to give each homeless person $108,000 a year. Be like, here, figure out what to do with that, and then maybe they can live in a home and shoot drugs. But at least they're off the street, right? Solve the homeless problem is homes, and we can do that. We can build $1.3 billion of housing in Seattle would easily house all 12,000 homeless people. No problem. But if Seattle will be the only city doing that, then homeless people are going to flock here, right? Because other cities will be like, well, we got a homeless problem. If we just spend $1,000 on a bus, we can ship them and Seattle will take care of them, which is why you need a national solution for it. You need a national answer, because the homeless problems in all these cities is not the result of the individual cities. It's a result of a systemic problem across the whole of the nation. And we need to address it nationally if we're going to do anything about that. Where was I? Oh. Tremendous debt ceiling always goes last minute, and then there's a deal. How is it different now? The difference is the people who control Kevin McCarthy are insane. That's the difference. And they won't vote for anything. So immediately you've got 20 votes on the Republican side. That ain't going to happen. You have to convince everyone else, and everyone else is too scared of those 20 that they might not go for it either. They wield a lot of unduly power with this very narrow majority house that we have. Kelly Reed, Home Depot posts worst earnings in about 20 years. Looks to me like they might have some major layoffs coming for a lot of stores and others like Home Depot. Yeah. And especially if housing construction and building construction slows to a crawl this fall. If they don't have contractors coming every day to buy stuff, and people don't have the money to do the upgrades in their homes, right? Like, you can't sell your house right now because interest rates are so garbage, there's no one around to buy it. And if you sell it, you're going to sell it for possibly less than you paid for it a couple of years ago. And why are you going to invest a whole bunch of money into fixing a bathroom if you have no equity in the house yet because of housing prices are falling, so you can't get a home equity loan? You're not going to be heading to Home Depot to do any updating. And all these house flippers, they're not going to be around anymore. They're going to be vaporized real quick here. Julio, Julius from Miami, he sent me this crazy thing he got from this bank where if you have an LLC, you can get a 2-year fixed rate loan, right? It's basically like a bond, like a 2-year bond. And all you do is you pay the interest. And the interest is insane. It's like 12%. So you pay 12% interest for 2 years, and then a balloon payment on the principal is due at the end of those 2 years, which is Great if you're a flipper, but if you're entering a market where flipping is not possible, right? You're going to pay 12% interest for 2 years. So you're going to pay 24% of the value of the property in a 2-year period. And then a balloon payment's due at the end. So you're paying 24% more than the value of the property now in 2 years. And the value of the home 2 years from now might be 40% less than what you're paying for it. So you're going to be underwater essentially 60% on that home in 2 years with no prospective buyers out there. This type of stuff they start offering in 2007, 2008 when all hell was about to break loose. My guess is that these lenders do these 2-year bonds. They sell the 2-year bonds at face value. So they might make a few pennies off of it, maybe 1% or whatever off of it, and then they make it somebody else's problem. And then they're out. Peace. They'll do a whole bunch of these and they're out. But it's like, this is the type of stuff you do when everything's about to collapse. So if you want to make an LLC, you can find this lender and be like, I'm going to make a home. I'm an LLC. Give me this stupid loan. And you can just pay absolutely, what would 12? Okay, let me just whip out my calculator again here. Okay, so, oops. Crap. I just closed my calculator. Dang it. Calculator, come back. Calculator. Oops. Calc. I can't spell. Calc. There we go. Calculator. Bam. Turn off the Chrome. Leave Supergirl alone. Okay. So 12% is $120,000, right? So, sorry. If you have a home that's $1 million, which is America these days, and you got to pay 12% interest. So $120,000, divide that by 12, you got $10,000 a month. $1 million home, you're going to spend $10,000 a month on that home for 2 years. So $240,000 out the window on that 12% interest. Right? And then you owe $1 million at the end of those 2 years. How on earth is anyone going to be able to afford that crap? Right? Like, maybe if you're a builder, you're like, okay, I can get this home built in 2 years. I can get together $240,000. That's all I need to pay this thing 2 years, and then I'll build 4 townhomes. I'll sell them for $1 million each, and I'll make $3 million-ish profit. Cool. Unless you can't do that, right? Seems to me this is kind of like the stuff that happens when everything's about to go to shit. What am I looking at? Okay. Kelly Reed, there can't be another GME. Nothing else was even close to how shorted 100% plus the float. So small, microcap, and so hated ignored prior to the big short squeeze. There won't be anything like it. On the baby squeeze of GME 2021, the SEC reported that it wasn't a squeeze, but a retail FOMO. Hedgies never close. Just imagine the price once forced to close happens. Exactly. That's what we're all sitting here waiting for. And I hope one of my crappy little side plays does something so I can finally get to my 1,000 shares that I want. Just want 1,000 shares of GME. That's all. And then I can just sit. My brain will be at peace. Just sit. It's a joke, Peachy Sunday. Don't worry. It's a joke. Comfy soda, thank God you're back. Thought you've been paid off by shit at all. No, I tweeted about this last summer. If anyone ever pays me, all right, where's what? All right, which one shall we do? We'll do this one. Oh, No, give me the image, dude. Not the stupid. I don't want that. Yes. Yes. Okay. If anyone ever pays me off, anyone ever, like, Citadel comes along, look, dude, we're sick of this crap, or Finra, I don't know, anyone's like, we're going to pay you off, so you shut the hell up, right? That's it. You're going to be a shill for us, you're going to do what we say, and I have a price, you know, they meet my price, I will gladly do it. If that ever happens, anyone ever buys me off, and all of a sudden I've, like, changed my tune, or I just won't talk about something anymore, look for this album cover right there. I will put that Kenny G right there, and you will know that I've sold out. And I'm living my best life. Monkey Butt and I are traveling from that point forward, and we're having a great time. But the moment I sell out, I will put this Kenny G album cover on the wall. And now I might have an NDA, might not be able to say, like, hey guys, I'm a sellout. But if I do, you know, just thank me for my service. Say, Houston, you made it. You've sold out, and you'll see Kenny G right there, and that will be how you know. That'll be my signal to you that I'm not to be trusted anymore. The minute you see that, every word that comes out of my mouth is just going to be a lie. It'll be bought and paid for, and I'll be driving a Ferrari and an Earth Roamer probably instead of a Ferrari. But Monkey Butt and I will just be jet setters at that point. Okay? That's my promise to you. Just if you ever see Kenny G there, that's it. My integrity's gone. But, you know, I've sold my soul for some substantial amount of money to make it worthwhile. Which is, you know, I'm accepting bids and offers at all times. So by all means, pull me from this messy office and transport me to a waterfront mansion with a very large garage that's already organized for me when I get there. So I don't have to do it. That's all I'm asking, really. You know, it's not much. I'm sure Ken Griffin doesn't have to organize his garage. I'm sure he has somebody to do that for him. He lives his best life that way. Ken Griffin, if you want me to shut the hell up someday, then you have to give me the means to have somebody organize my garage for me, right? There you go. Okay. Where were we? Pollinger break does Mitt Romney and Bain Capital running AMC now? I'm sure they're not far behind. Rupert Trooper. That's a good name. Have you seen Pulte's new tweet about dark and light and image he tweeted out? No, I didn't do much Twitter scanning today. I still don't think I've even caught up to all of my DMs I had today. Let's see here, Pulte. What do you got for me, Pulte? Pulte. Oh, this one. So, this guy. What goes on in the dark always comes out in the light. So it's the Forbes best banks listing FRC and Silicon Valley, and then you got Holmes in her Forbes cover, and you got SBF in his bullshit. Yeah. Forbes does always seem to know first. They're like the inverse Kramer of magazine covers. So those two agree on something. Vegas odds are against it for sure at that point. What was that? Okay. Baby Brand, fairly sure Houston's birthday is 5th or 15th of May. Either way, we continue to see happy birthday, and he will neither confirm nor deny. You are correct. I will neither confirm nor deny. Comfy Soda, MMTOP court date set for the 30th to produce blue sheets, so I heard. Not necessarily produce the blue sheets, but what the New York court, they call it Supreme Court, it's not actually Supreme Court, it's just a district court in New York, but they have its fancy name, they have ordered FINRA to appear and explain why they can't provide the blue sheets. They have until, I think, the 26th to file a response, a written response, and then they have to defend that response in court. So that's what we're looking at. We're looking to see, will they be able to defend that? Will they have good enough reasons? Will the judge be like, those reasons kind of suck. You gotta provide it. My guess is that the judge will probably say, okay, redact any information that can be, personal information, and then provide the rest of it. That's what I'm hoping the judge says. And if that's the case, then all these other lawsuits against FINRA can either be resubmitted. So if like Hoffman lost because they've got, immunity according to the court that he was suing in. But Rosa's still, she's still fighting. They've not thrown out everything. They did throw out the emergency injunction part. But that's a lot of evidence to show, like, these dudes are up to no good if the blue sheets read what we think they're going to read. Hi, buddy. Are you finally up and at 'em? You had a long day in the sunshine, huh? Yeah. Gonna come up say hi? Come say hi for everybody? Yeah? Yo. She's had a long day in the sunshine, sleeping outside, walking around. We had lunch with my friend Brett. She got to eat a whole hamburger. That was delicious. Yeah. Oh, it was a good day. And then the Chalupa Batman comes and visits. Hi, Chalupa. Everybody's here. Yay. Okay. Yeah, that's your cat. It's your cat friend right there. Wait, what's happening? I don't know. My brain's leaving me. It's 10:40 at night. It feels like it's about 1,000,000 o'clock right now. All right, where am I? Chris Collins, we unpacked our lazy spa to go out again. It has a hole in the base somewhere. Yeah. I mean, the thing about the lazy spas is that you have to keep them running like year round, and then they work great. It's the when they shut off is when there's a problem. For me, with my Coleman, it was the old Coleman had to be reset every 3 days. If you weren't out there turning it on every 3 days, it would just turn itself off. And like, wow, burn off, saving energy. Screw you, Coleman. Be hot all the time because I want to go in there any moment. And if it turned off the wrong time, let's say January, it's 25 degrees outside, it freezes over. And then it won't turn back on again because the little computer inside says if it's under 40 degrees Fahrenheit, we're not turning it on. Which means you can't do anything about it until spring when it finally gets warm enough and you can turn it back on. By then it's like gross and sludgy and bleh, it's all disgusting. This one, my most recent one, enjoying it, having a great time, just me and like the Bud Light girls in the hot tub all day long. And then I go to Switzerland for 3 weeks and I say, hey, just make sure it's all right. And someone's like, yeah, I'll make sure it's fine. And the power goes out. And the power went out. It got too cold, froze over, exploded all the pipes inside of the poor little egg heater thing, and that was it. Lights out, all done. You're in Peru though, so you don't have to worry about like things freezing over on you the same way that we do. But that was it. $300 lazy spa. Kaput. Labor. Naked shorts in the hot tub. Okay. TKK awake really early in Denmark. Ted Tremendous. Hey, Houston, my local county, major city, at 620 homes for sale. Should be 5,000. There are 8,000 realtors in our area. Housing crisis? Rates too high? It's going to get weird. Because right now, no one wants to sell. Because they aren't going to be able to sell for the price they paid for in December 2021. And if they sell, they got to get another house, which means they have to get an insane rate for the other house. not that great. Not a good time to be diving into that. So yeah, the market's gonna be really thin till the foreclosures start coming in, because there's a lot of balloon payments that are gonna be coming due that people aren't gonna be able to pay. There's gonna be a lot of folks who bought their home with cash using a margin count on their investments. Their investments are gonna become fucking worthless, so they're gonna have to sell their homes. And we're gonna have a flood of homes. We're gonna have probably two different levels. We're gonna have luxury homes that were bought with cash being sold to pay off margin. And we'll probably have a whole bunch of crappy flipping homes where people are flipping too many homes at the same time, entering a crappy market, and they're not going to be able to sell them, and they're going to get foreclosed on. And then all their other homes that were investment properties, and those get sold. And then along with that are going to be all the Airbnb folks. These Airbnb folks, they create these LLCs where they're buying up like hundreds of homes and they're renting them out as Airbnbs in all these neighborhoods. And that's going to dry up. People are sick and tired of the way Airbnb treats them, or the Airbnb landlords treat them. Like, oh, you got to put the laundry in the machine and clean all the dishes and do all this stuff and pay a $200 cleaning fee. Like, no. I paid you for the home. That should include the cleaning, just like a hotel. And I think people aren't going to travel as much if the economy's hurting, and which means they aren't going to be paying exorbitant Airbnb prices. And a lot of these homes are bought on spec that they could make $5,000 a month as an Airbnb, and they're going to have a whole bunch of empty spots in their calendar. They're going to start missing payments as a result, and those homes are going to be scooped up by the banks, put on the market, and it's just going to be a flood in the market soon. And we're just kind of doing this like doldrum before the hurricane comes. The calm before the storm. Citizen 54, DeSantis, all the while, governor oversaw the transfer of more than $1 billion of Florida public employees' retirement dollars into these donors' high-fee, high-risk alternative investments. Yeah. DeSantis moved $1 billion into the investment portfolios of his donors, which is a pay-for-play, which is against the law, and he could very well face some federal criminal charges for that one. I mean, that dude's getting slapped with so many lawsuits right now. It's absolutely bonkers. Yeah. Iggy Lemon, if you drown the government in the bathtub, you get grafted in New Hampshire. Lol. The bear walks into a libertarian. It's a good book. Pick it up if you want. Oh yeah, you guys ever heard about that place? So, the New Hampshire Libertarian Party and some guys were like, "Hey, everyone move to Grafton, New Hampshire. We're gonna make a libertarian paradise." And all these libertarians were like, "Oh, awesome, let's go!" And they bought out this whole little town. And they got rid of trash collection. They got rid of the water company. They're like, we don't need government for anything. And then the bears took over, because hundreds of years of living in the wild, people learned how to deal with bears. And part of that is you collect your trash every week. You have safe bins that are regulated. You keep the town clean. You do all these things. And all of a sudden, there's no trash collection. These dudes just leaving trash fucking everywhere. Fuck you. I don't need to pick up after myself. I'm a libertarian. Screw you. I do what I want. Ugh. And the bears started being like, oh, there's delicious things everywhere. And so they started breaking people's homes and ripping them apart. What was the stat? It was in the 200 years since the town had existed, 200 plus years since the town existed, there had been one bear attack, one black bear attack of a human being. In like these 8 years since they made Grafton into Libertarian Paradise, there's been like 50 bear attacks. To the point that the bears have like taken over town and people can't even live there anymore because the bears are like, human blood. Absolutely hilarious. Same thing happened with, they made like an Ayn Rand style, Fountainhead, Atlas Shrugged town in some mountain village in Chile. And all went to crap because a whole bunch of rich people moved to this town because like, oh, we don't need government services, we don't need anything. And then down in the middle of nowhere, and they didn't realize that there's an underclass that provides services for people. There are trash collectors. There are people that work in car maintenance facilities and everything. And they don't necessarily have the same libertarian ideals and didn't want to move to be a servant class to these rich people. And rich people like couldn't get their cars serviced and couldn't get groceries. And someone might be like, I'm going to be an entrepreneur. I'm going to open a grocery store. Well, there's no one to work there because everyone there is a retiree. And no one wanted to move up into this mountain village in the middle of nowhere, so far away from anything. So they couldn't find anyone to work there, and it all fell apart. So, you need to be enticing to all members of society if you want to make the society work. Dragon, my friends still sell ships $25,000 of casino get for $10,000. Good deal, guys. Dragon, I seldom know what you're talking about, but I love you. But yeah, good deal, guys. Hey, that's a 2.5x right there. It's a good chunk. A libertarian walks into a bear. Charlie Brown's ghost. Ooh. 222 watching only 42 likes. Come on, guys. Give W the finger rather than the thumb. Oh, there's a reset of the chat. Where were we? That one. Judgmentus Houston, have you ever met me or thought you knew someone? Met or thought you knew someone, like met me. Have you met or thought you knew someone in witness protection or was a former hitman or spy? I know a couple of former spies. They will say, like, yeah, I worked for the CIA for 30 years. They won't tell you what they did or how they did it. And I know a hitman. I know a straight up hitman. I'm not gonna tell you who he is, but I know a guy who has, some guys. He's also retired. My friend Will Swenson. When I met him, I was like, this guy is either Black Ops or Special Forces. One of those things. He wouldn't tell me what he did for a living. If you asked him, like, hey, Will, what do you do? He'd be like, I sell drugs to middle schoolers. He would never fully explain it, but you pay for everything with USAA cards. I'm like, either he's government or he's related to somebody who was government. That's interesting. And then one day, I open up SeattleTimes.com, check the news, and there's Will's face getting the Medal of Honor from Barack Obama. And I was like, oh, shit, that's what Will's doing, being a goddamn war hero. But yeah, like, he was my ski buddy. We would go skiing all the time. And some days be like, oh, I got to go for work somewhere. I'm like, okay. And you disappear for a few weeks, come back, and we go skiing again. His leaving for work would be like they put him on a C-130 and fly him to Tora Bora and drop him out of a plane. He'd do some work for a few weeks, get back to a camp, the helicopter him back to an airport, he'd fly home and live a normal life again. It was the weirdest thing. So yeah, I've known a couple of those guys. Witness protection, not officially, but Ocean View Estates, and I'm saying this now that all the people in the mob are watching my show, but Ocean View Estates has a whole bunch of people from witness protection live there. A whole bunch. Like, let's go out to Hawaii. Wing! Go to Ocean View Estates, out here in the middle of nowhere. So Ocean View Estates is on a fairly fresh lava flow. This is the 1929 lava flow. But, so you see this subdivided land here? There are homes. There's like one little market. You are quite a ways from anybody. There's not really a real grocery store until you get to there. And there's not really a real grocery store until you get to there. KL. So you're like 2.5 hours from a real grocery store. There's this market. It's not a real grocery store. In this place, the land is really cheap. You can buy an acre for, $10,000, $15,000. The views are fantastic. There's no water. You're stuck with a cesspool. It's a crazy grid pattern that kind of goes northeast, southwest, and northwest, southeast. There is like They actually have a fire station now. That's great. You are in quite a dangerous rift zone where lava flows do like to spill here and they can wipe out anything. Again, I think this is the 29 flow and this is like the 18-15 flow, so they can get wiped out. But you will meet a lot of people who are very New York Italian. And they'll be like, hey, my name is Robert Smith. And, I'm retired. Like, there's no way you're Smith. There's no way your first name's Robert. They're, Gaspucci. There's just tons of rumors that there's witness protection guys all over the place in here. My Blue Heaven, all over. So, have I run across some? Very likely. In my mind, I've thought a couple of people I've met out in the Ocean View Estates were definitely in witness protection and definitely either done some scary things or seen some scary things. And there's a disproportionate number of Italian gentlemen who live with their very Italian families here in Ocean View Estates. Well, you don't have very much of an Italian presence in any other communities in Hawaii. Monkey butt. It has been 2 hours. I am almost at the end here. You've gotten so many treats today, you don't need any more. But you're such a good-looking dog. I will give you one. Right here. Okay. Okay, yeah. This, gotta make sure the Ziploc shut, because I want this whole place to smell like beef jerky. Looks like I got a skinny one and a regular size one, monkey. Want the regular size one first? Yeah. Oh, you gotta come. Oh, you gotta come get it. You gotta come get it for everybody. Oh, wait. No one can see. We don't have. There we go. Oh, so much better. Come on, get it. It's right there. You gotta get it. Come on. You gotta come get it. You can't just. Come on, get it. It's right. I'm not moving. Yeah. Oh, there it is. All right. You're so polite. Yep. And then right in the monkey cam. Okay. I will remain an hour and change behind on the chat today. There's just no way. I don't have it in me to do anything more than the next 2 minutes. So, lost on an island, quote, former President Bill Clinton said if faced with default, he would single-handedly raise the debt ceiling by using the 14th Amendment, and he'd do it without hesitation and force the courts. Does it continue? Or just force the courts, I guess. I don't see a continuation on that one. But yeah, use that 14th Amendment. Challenge Congress to do something about it. Because what they don't want is to be seen trying to destroy the global economy in an election year. Just don't be leading in 2024 being like, I'm trying to make sure your family can never eat food. That's not the best way to do it. All right. We'll do. I'll scroll down here. Aaron Sounty needs to be like, sell every single stock you got from Moas. The Kenny G sign. Exactly. I'm like, it's over, guys. Ain't happening. And then to see Kenny G over my shoulder, be like, yeah. Snort alert. Hi, Houston. Bye, Houston. Have to head to work. Well, have a good night at work. Or good day at work. My work. All right. Scroll. I'll just scroll to one more here towards the. Bex, Houston, happy birthday. Woke up to find you. Love the shirt. Tell Gardner you need more payoff money. Give us hope to spare. Yeah. Let's get it. Okay. All right. I gotta scroll up to one. Kim Houston, what do you think about the University of Idaho deciding to acquire University of Phoenix? Seems like a strange decision to me. Wait, a public state school is going to buy the largest private diploma mill in the world? That's really weird. But, no, it's really weird. Usually it's the other way around. Usually there's the diploma mill schools want to buy a failing college because they want the accreditation. So they have a campus somewhere, some like old nursing covenant school, whatever convent school, and then they have a physical address, and that's their school. They don't have any students that learn there, but then they'd be like, oh, remember Nun College? Come get your degree through Nun College. An actual state school buying University of Phoenix is very strange indeed. But enrollment in college is down in general, and state schools, I think, are discovering they need to make a bigger play in online schooling. And the big online schools are like, well, profits are gone. We've milked this thing for everything we got. So, might be a match made in heaven? I don't know. But there's so many online, like dedicated online platforms now. You got like Alex and I can't remember the name of all the ones I've used. Was it First Student and Canvas, and there's a lot that you can just buy, and then you have an online platform. In Zoom, you get those 2 subscriptions, and you're probably good to go. But interesting that they would buy University. Would they change the name? Would it still be University of Physics? University of Phoenix, a University of Idaho company? I don't know. Like they own a stadium. Will not be University of Idaho Stadium for the Cardinals play in Phoenix. The University of London, England. I don't know. Weird. Very weird. I don't know much about it. That's the first I'm hearing about it, Kim, so I can't speculate too much further on there. Yeah, it's 11 o'clock. My brain is done, guys. I'll see you Friday. I might do a Twitch tomorrow evening, but I gotta wake up early. Monkey Butt and Chalupa Batman are both going to vet tomorrow for their checkups at the butt crack of dawn. And I'm an astronomer. I don't do the butt crack of dawn, so I gotta do that tomorrow, and then probably like move boxes around and self-flagellate myself all day long. But anyway, I'll see you Friday. That's a dog. Looks like she wants to go outside. So, yeah. All right, guys. We'll do the other one. Yeah. Colonizing the moon is a necessity. We need the minerals on the moon to basically power our civilization for the next 10,000 years. So, we're gonna do it. We have to do it. Oh, hello.